I was in a hyperliquid long, of course.
Oh no, you were in a hyperliquid long?
I got hyperliquidated.
Oh fuck. Dude, that hype kind of makes me laugh. And look, I think it's one of those communities where it kind of reminds me of like the early Solana days where it's like wag me, we're all gonna make it, NFT PFPs, like everyone's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, very naive about everything. Um, but there's like a cult around hype. And I don't know if that's just because they actually like the tech or they have a huge bag of it. It's probably a little bit of both, but like I don't really understand why it's so special. Like, okay, it's decentralized, great. Um, the CEO of it just proved today that it's not really decentralized. Like he made a decision, they said they voted, but I doubt that's the case, to delist the asset that was being manipulated, but not really manipulated. It's like someone took a short on it and they longed it on another platform, and then they pulled the collateral from Hype and then forced Hype to take the position, and then people squeezed it on another platform. It's like, well,
That
if
is
you're
what
gonna,
happened?
yeah, exactly,
That is so crazy that this is possible. That is
yeah.
crime. It's a crime cycle.
Well, I mean, is that crime though? It's like if it's built into your code, if Hype is allowing you to do that, and
Yeah.
like you're not breaking. I mean, look, if Hype is letting you do that, I don't know what the legality of it. It doesn't really seem like it's illegal. But yeah, and then I think they took like a $50 million loss or something like that on it, which is crazy. Um,
No.
so
But
I
okay,
wonder I wonder how much money the exploiter gained. I'm sure he made some money from it or she.
that
Um,
but why does it affect the hyperliquid token itself
everyone
so
freaks out because there's like this vault HLP. It's like a liquidity token. Like all these exchanges have it, right? They
yeah,
they distribute the fees from all the trading on the platform, and you can buy the token, and the token, hypothetically gets distributions from the trading fees. But, I guess whatever vault they keep the fees in, like, was getting drained because of this one trade. It's crazy.
it's it's really crazy. Like when I looked at the chart and I saw it like live breaking down and I was like, okay, it's breaking down. I'm gonna close my position, right?
Yeah.
And it like
Oh, the candle was
immediately
insane.
nuked. Immediately nuked within a second and then
Candle was
lower, lower,
insane.
lower. And I was like, okay, I will wait for a little bounce to sell my position because when I manually want to manage it, and I saw on Bybit the week was even harder and I got it like stopped out. I lost a bit. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I thought in this moment, how illiquid is this market? Like, what the even fuck, right?
It's really weird. Like, I I wanted to trade Hype, and it kinda got away from me, so I wasn't able to long it, but, I'm saying, like, days ago, but I looked at longing it this morning, and, of course, like, after that big, panic candle, I was like, "Ah, this looks kinda bottomy, it's, like, might reclaim this weekly level," and then it went boom again down to the next weekly level, which is 12 and
Yeah,
a half, and I was like, "Oh, fuck, I bet so many people went long to buy that dip and got liquidated again." Like, liquidated
completely
once,
annihilated.
fuck it,
Yeah.
get back in, liquidated again. And then that's real pain is not losing once, but losing twice in the same trade. Um,
It was catching a falling knife, but as the other coins weren't really affected that much, I thought like, okay, this is a fluke. It is too much, and then I stepped in and wanted to relong, of course, but I immediately closed as I saw the volatility on
mhm,
hype. I thought this is crazy. I will lose money here, so I resisted playing it again,
good.
and of course, the structure now looks very broken. I have a must reclaim level, but in general, when zooming out on hype, to be honest, I'm not interested. There are so many better setups in this market. And if a coin provides such liquidity sweeps, such spikes, I'm generally not interested because the possibility of losing in that market, if you choose to play that market, you take in consideration, right? I probably will lose if this happens again. So I'm just opting out on playing this and search for another coin, like bump it off my watch list, do something else.
Yeah.
Not interested. It looks illiquid. even if it's not, like 1,000 people will tell me, yeah, the protocol fixed that, and it was just one bad player. Okay, well, if there's one, there will be another, right?
Exactly, and there was one, and then there's a second, and it's like, all right, well, if you see a couple roaches running around the house, there's probably a nest somewhere else. Like, why
Yeah,
can't someone just
exactly.
do this tomorrow? Why can't I, like, find some low cap shitter that's on the platform and buy up, 25% of the market cap? You and I can do it together, and then just do the same thing.
Yeah,
Like, every single trader has to be thinking that has some certain size. Like, I would be very spooked being long hype right now until they address that. Like, I really don't get it. Like, I'm not gonna like talk about the technicals of why they're letting this happen, but like, I always thought that if you get liquidated, the position gets closed. Why is the position still open if a person is liquidated? Like, isn't a short that gets closed just they buy it back? Like, I really don't understand why they're holding this shit into drawdown and versus just closing it immediately and taking the loss. Like, maybe they're not able to take that loss as on behalf of the
yeah,
exchange, or maybe the loss is too big. Um, but just weird stuff, man. But
might be.
this is a fun conversation, but maybe we should. I know we want to do something a little bit different this week for our weekly crypto market ideas podcast. Maybe instead of a big like macro outlook, you had a really great trading week. You doubled your perp account this week,
Yeah,
doing some
I
low
did.
time frame stuff. Do you want to like maybe share a couple of the setups that you did or the ideas you had for those trades? I guess you closed them already, but then like,
Yeah, I'm out of all.
yeah, talk about that, and then maybe talk about how you're positioning this week. And
Sure.
then I can do the same. And I'll talk about what I'm looking for.
Yeah, of course. So, pretty amazing what happened for me this week. While Bitcoin had its grind up and was right at this point of stage, I decided to play into that movement for an extended rally into the next resistance. So what this means is I looked at Bitcoin locally at the 4 hourly. We were pretty bottomed on my indicators. We were grinding sideways. We were in an upward channel. The channel was not broken, so the risk reward at this stage here was pretty good because I'm very fast with exiting my position if this is broken and we get to have that liquidity sweep for these build up lows here, right? But I thought we are due for a push more higher. I initially thought low 90Ks maybe. Maybe we can break that downtrend with force because we are in a new 60-day cycle, but we will cover that later. And what I then did, you know me, my watch list always stays the same. I have some interesting coins I like to play into, and I'm not changing my watch list per se a lot, but I'm marking interesting coins out each week. I'm not changing my watch list a lot because I know the coins that are in this watch list and I have all the charts like in my memory. I don't know, I live for that. I studied them the last 4 years. I know these coins. That's why they are in my watch list. And every week I mark out the coins that are very interesting. So when I go long in the market, especially within a 60-day low time frame, like for example, I want to long Bitcoin, um, I'm addressing it on the daily time frame. Of course, I'm looking for my cycle oscillators bottoming out within a 60-day cycle low phase, and then I go net long, which means in these regions here, I will take a lot of risk and I will distribute my money between different altcoins I think that provide very good setups. So at the point of stage where I went long, I was pretty late into it. So it was like mostly breakout trades or continuation setups I took on altcoins, but I put on a lot of size, a lot of leverage. I played with, I would say on average, every position was a 10x leverage position, and I risked the full account. And why I was able to do that is because I longed one coin after another, and one after another, I moved my stop loss into profit. So this trade, like one after another from these trades, went risk free for me. So I could risk additionally. And
We should just clarify a few things. First,
Yeah,
you used your all your capital in your perp account, but to be clear,
yeah,
that wasn't your full like trading
yeah,
capital. So it wasn't
absolutely.
like
Like,
he was going 100% net long. He was using a portion of his capital to go long. And then also for people that aren't familiar with how to use leverage or how to use leverage to your advantage, what he's saying is that he had leverage positions. They went into profit. He essentially moved the position to profit so he couldn't lose on it and then maxed out the leverage, meaning that he had more capital available to take other trades.
exactly. So, for example, when I went long here, I would move my stop when I enter the position here right under the low because I do not expect we move down here again because I don't want this channel to be hardly broken. And as soon as we move up, we get that force up, I move my stop into um, above my entry level or at my entry level, and the trade gets risk free. Also, I free my capital. I can higher my leverage because it will not affect my position, and I have more free capital for other coins. And I did this with all the yellow marked coins here, basically on the right. So I had about, I don't know, 16 long positions open. That all went up.
So I have a
And
question for you. You had 16 open. Why do you do 16 different positions versus just using a lot of size in like one or two or three positions?
okay, great question. Because to be honest, I couldn't choose which I wanted to play, and I didn't know which will move the hardest, which is the new narrative out of the 60-day cycle low out of here. And actually, I was not that much. I was not sure if we really move higher. It was just a fun play. I went long, and they kept working, and I just longed one after another. And also, when to the time I started longing altcoins, like two of them broke out and I longed them. And then the next one give a trigger. And then the next one give a trigger. Like I have that set of triggers over a few hours, over 2 days, basically. One by one triggered and moved up. And this was just one great setup after the other. And I kept taking them. And also in reverse, when we were topping out, when we got that 4 hour 9 signals here, I was then cutting off that positions. When we talked yesterday, I already cutted all of my positions. So I actually, I think I went long here actually. Um, so I already cutted my positions and then re-longed later on the greatest setups again. And that's how I built that 16 positions that all went risk-free at the end.
That's
I
great.
shared, yeah. So it was pretty amazing. And on average, they moved 5 to 10% up with a 10x leverage on the perp account. I nearly doubled my account now. I took some losses now recently today on hyperliquid, of course, but that did not affect these numbers too much, as also the stop was very tight. Yeah, that's basically it. I played into continuation and then longed one by one, and also was fast by cutting because all of 2024 I was conditioned to take profits early because I never know when we do expand, and I tend to at the first major resistance, like we move here in a major resistance, I take profits on them. 2024 best example. If for every 60-day cycle I would have let my positions run, I would fully have round tripped them, and I did. I did it here with the first cycle, and I nearly did it here, but I stopped doing it. And also here, I cutted my positions, but hey, you always can re-long into the market. So I went late long again here, and I did not miss the move by taking profits. So that's a big learning. So also here, I'm fully out of my positions. Also, I went short, of course. Here, I went short. I wrote you that a few hours ago. I'm out of my longs. I went short here because I'm expecting now maybe we could break down. But now let's talk about the altcoin setups, um, or click into a few of altcoins I longed and see what I did there
Yeah.
if I can remember. So standard setup here. For example, on Solana, we have that consolidation pattern here at the lows, like Bitcoin, right? It's like a bit, we take, we make a low, and then we have form of compression going on here. Maybe it's clearer on the 4 hour. Yes, it is. And as soon as this trade triggers, that means it breaks out, I'm basically long. And it was on the screen for these trades, right? I longed it here and it took profits here because I thought, okay, of course, because of my indicators, we were topping. I think I should take some profits. So basically, my trade entry was here and the initial stop was here. And as soon as we broke out, I basically set it very tight and just left it running. And I did cut Solana around here, for example. And I did this with a lot of coins. Of course, I also was net long hype. I went long here, but also why I went long was I thought the 1 hour is pretty clean on hype here as resistance trend and then as support. So it tapped the 1 hour, it broke out, I went long. And when I entered, again, my stop was here. And as soon as we moved up, I set it very tight. Okay. Then I got to take profits. So I took profits on hype here again. And what today happened was that I thought we would have moved into the 1 hour trend here again. So I relonged my position. And of course, I got liquidated because of the move today, which is not bad. And this also marks now my must reclaim level. I marked that out as we broke down because here's the 1 hour trend and here's the nearest local support and resistance. So what I want to see to get interested in hype again is really a reclaim of that level and continuation of that trend. So CRV, basically I went here long because it broke up. We got a momentum shift on the daily time frame. And I longed this pullback here going into here. And I thought, because that's why I closed this trade. When I went long here, I actually took profits around here because I thought these lows will get swept. So what I thought was we will get some sort of liquidity washout before moving higher. But of course, I don't know why this was so strong. I think one of our Twitter main characters, I think credible um, crypto, pushed this coin pretty hard, showed it on the timeline. So it just kept going. That's my theory because, yeah,
Yeah, it
this
didn't
should
really have
have.
any big pullbacks. This just kind of went.
Yeah, it went. And I wanted to long it actually. I didn't get filled here because I thought it takes this low out here. So I thought it will sweep that low. So my long were placed here. I didn't get filled here, but I got filled here and could play it into there, but then went out of the position a bit too early. But I thought, hey, dailies come in right here, right? And we get that build up lows. So I rather go out of the position and would have loved to relong a liquidity sweep here in the perfect retest of that breakout level here. That was previous resistance and then provided a breakout up. So this together with a trend would be perfect for me, but I didn't get it. It's not a problem. And then the things just got going, and basically every coin kind of was the same. Here on Ondo, very clean. What I wanted to say previously, we had a low, we had a compression, we had a breakout and a perfect retest. I love to take these trades because the invalidation acceptance again within this structure is so clear. When you look at the volume, you really can separate these levels from others. So this
Yeah,
would
that
be
is
my
really clean.
entry. Yeah.
It's really clean. Yeah.
It is really clean. And other coins provided similar setups like INJ. Compression, breakout, didn't retest it perfectly, but I bought the breakout. And say, of course, kind of the same, also descending structure, breakout. I longed this breakout also. And then I can keep going with all of these coins basically that provide the same setup, which was compression, more cleaner on some than others, or these channel grind ups with then a breakout of a bigger high time frame trend like on render, which was one of the biggest winners. So I had some very big winners within that. As I said, I played roulette with the coins because I didn't know which one will move. So I just moved. I just longed the breakouts. And every coin that would break out, and I thought it's a good setup, I just kept longing because I already secured other trades with making them risk-free. So I could hop on to render here, which broke out on this very large diagonal line. And I also was into SUI because it here breaks out of that descending channel and it's just breaking out. So SUI in theory provides a clean breakout here, but has to reclaim a key level above. So the only trade allowed for me here would be this here, to play from the breakout into the daily resistance and the next key level. I would take profits here and wait for the reclaim before I do anything. Yeah, and if a coin didn't break out, I didn't take it. The only coin that didn't break out and I took was XRP, and I don't know why, to be honest. I just saw XRP on the timeline a lot. And I thought of why not have a position here? Maybe we break out. So I positioned earlier here. It did nothing. I closed it, break even, no worries. But really, at the moment, XRP, I can delete that structure because it's not very clean. XRP is within a range, and should we test that level next to take out a bit liquidity? And then this would be a long opportunity into range highs and probably a bit higher if it provides that. But if we come to the Bitcoin analysis after all the altcoins now, I can maybe share some insights about that, why I think that now the risk reward is not as good as it was when I took my trades, and why I am currently short actually in the market.
Yeah, talk about that.
Yeah, and that is because of the 60-day cycle chart, my lovely 60-day cycle chart. So what we had here is we had a range. Of course, we had a 60-day cycle low, a lower 60-day cycle, 60-day cycle high, a lower 60-day cycle high, and now a very delayed 72 cycle bottom. And always when we have that cycle bottoms, we should see at least 15 days of upside. I keep repeating that because it has to burn also in my brain. Hey, when I have a 60-day cycle low, I'm playing into at least 15 days of upside. Now we are on day 13, got a 4-hour topping signal here. So it's a possible day 13 top, which would be an early top, which wouldn't be great because we didn't break out yet. We have a grind higher structure. And if this really tops out here, we can go much lower here within that 60-day cycle. Or we break out and we move into the range lows, which are the next logical resistance per this chart, and see how we behave there. But really, I'm looking for a cycle top either in a few days or already here. And because of what? Because of my 60-day cycle indicator down here, which always pinpoints the cycle tops here, here. I marked it with X here. This also was pretty heavy volatile, so this fucked up the 60-day cycle a bit. But these tops really were marked by this 60-day cycle oscillator, which is basically double smoothed stochastics, and they are already in a pretty overbought level here. So what I can see is that we maybe top out here in the next days and roll over into a 60-day mid-cycle low, wherever this is, before our second attempt higher. And that's why I'm currently in no position, and because of I'm actually in a position. I'm in a short position because of the 4-hour view. We are at the moment fighting for our dear life here to reclaim the 4-hour trend, which was previous resistance here, pretty clean. And also this descending trend line. And if we cannot break out here and we lose that channel that we are in, then I am looking to at least a sweep of all these lows into the recent low, which is a naked point of control level here, where we found support previously, or lower. So if we break here, my short will pay. If we break above and we reclaim that 4-hour, I will, of course, get invalidated, which is totally fine, and we can play into the next resistance. But also here, I would be attracted to shorts for now, based on the very oversold, overbought daily indicator. So the daily indicator basically sets my bias. If it's overbought, I'm biased, okay, I want a short resistance. If it's oversold, if it's very, very, very low and we are within a 60-day cycle low, I'm focused on getting long exposure in the market. So as the 60-day cycle oscillator is overbought, I'm now looking for shorts, either here or here. And
Go back to
that's
the one
my,
day.
yeah.
I always find this view with the oscillators. I think this is tough right here because
Mhm,
obviously the shorter term oscillators, the double smooth stochastics,
mhm.
that's saying incredibly overbought. But your more high time frame oscillator is
Yeah.
now saying that we're incredibly oversold and that we're rebounding.
Yeah, well, the thing is, stochastics move very fast from the top to the bottom, but the breadth does not. It's basically, it behaves a bit like the MACD. The MACD also is not a stochastic indicator. It is more, this why I call it market breadth indicator. This indicates how much strength is in the market. And this in the bottom regions here is A, yes, it is very oversold, but B just means there's a lack of strength, right? The strength, the market was stronger right here than it is right here. That's just what the indicator says. And if we turn here, I'm also expecting this to roll over, and then maybe the market gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So what you're looking at is basically when the breadth in general trends up to the upper right corner, then these stochastic oscillating lows are dips to buy. If the breadth turns from the left upside corner to the right down corner, these highs here are to sell because the market strength is decreasing. So we have one, the indicator that, hey, the market gets weaker. And of course, yes, this indicator also can break out and provide a clean breakout and the market gets again stronger. But to that this happens, this has to prove itself, right? The market has to prove me that I have reasons to go long again, that I have enough reasons to be bullish again. And maybe it does. Maybe after we get the next low, we break out here and the whole market moves up. And this breadth indicator in general, over the next 60 cycles, moves to the top right corner. And every stochastic low I will long into and add exposure on the long side. But for that to happen, for example, I think we would have to reclaim the range lows, which would be a great indication of strength, and this breadth to break out. Then I would say every stochastic low, like the next 6-day cycle low, also if we get a higher low, for example, if this is a higher low, I would definitely long into that. I would play into that.
Fair. That's awesome. Well, I think trading's great because I I feel a little bit differently right now.
Yeah, I know.
And but that's what makes this interesting, right? I think you were very bullish. You did very well playing the long side, and now you're short. But I think just to be clear, I think your time frame right now is I think you're short term bearish. I don't
Mhm.
think you're like what is your time frame for being bearish? Are you bearish today? Are you bearish this week? Are you bearish this month?
Oh, I think just in terms of opportunity, right?
Mhm.
So, do I have a great opportunity on the long side if we're already overbought? I don't think so. We have now a push on Bitcoin from the lows here, which is already up 15%, and the cycle oscillator is toppy. So to really play into longs, and what I love to do is these 60-day cycle lows, right? So the next big chance is if we cool off this indicator, for example, if we cool off and get the next turn, if I see this for example. We take out maybe liquidity also, for example. And I see this, a higher low here in the stochastics, right? We turn up. This would also bring the breadth up to the up right corner. And I get a higher low here or liquidity sweep. I would absolutely love to long this because the probability of a breakout also from that descending trend line after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think the sixth time could be the charm and we break out. So you asked me what is the time frame for being bearish. I just want to see the indicators cool off. Or for example, when I zoom in on the 4-hour, let's get this right. Oh, it's just not loading. On the 4-hour, the
No, I
indicator.
think your bottom indicators really zoomed in. Double click. Oh, there we go.
No,
Yeah.
here. Um, like on the 4-hour, for example, I want to see that a bit more down to get long again.
Yeah. You want it to turn. You want it to
I
turn.
wanted,
I got it.
when we go from bottom to top, I'm biased long. When we go from top to bottom, I'm biased short. And if we reject here, of course, then my short would be get validated. I would move my stop into break even and expect that we take out these build up lows, which is a standard setup for me, right? We build up lows, we lose momentum, we lose breath, we lose strength, and then we take out the lows before maybe the real move starts, and B, in general, we can move higher because we cooled off previously. Yeah. So that's how I'm thinking at the moment. Of course, I can be wrong, and this is a major shift, but I would like my invalidation of being wrong here would be a reclaim of the range lows, and we just keep going. If I see this, there's enough time for me to enter the market and go long, and so much opportunity. Um, but at the moment, for now, I stay short. I know you feel it a bit different. And also, to be clear, what I am really expecting is a takeout of some of the previous build-up lows. I'm expecting a higher low, and I'm expecting a real retest of the low 90Ks before maybe rolling over into a 60-day cycle low, and we can take it from there. I said previously in this 60-day cycle, I'm focused on seeing a structure. So I want to really, on the daily view here, see a structure of higher lows and higher highs. And if we get such a view, and that I'm really focused on, you bet I'm the maximum bullish I can be here on that 60-day cycle low.
All right. Now for the bullish cycle argument. So let's start with let's just start with the US stock market. And today is not a great day. Obviously, the market's selling off today. But what I want to show here is the amount of oversold nature that we're seeing in the total US equities market. We totally bottomed out. The market paused. And one of the things in equities that doesn't happen in crypto is it created a gap. So it gapped from here to here. And right now it's retesting that gap, which is all healthy and fine. But what this gap means from this kind of like oversold low is that there is a imbalance of demand. The demand was so high that it pulled the prices higher overnight. How much higher did it even go? I mean, these are equities, so it's a little bit different, but it pulled it over more than 1% overnight up and back above this kind of 200-day moving average. Right now, we are falling beneath it and retesting this gap. I think this is kind of a do or die moment, just Max said. So Max is leaning bearish that we're going to keep breaking down. And I think for his bearish thesis to be correct, I think it breaks down and down and down and down, and we need to make a lower low. And I think, yeah, she'll have amazing short opportunities. I think what we need for the bull case of things is all right, yes, we checked the gap, so we're good there. So we don't have to worry about coming back to this later. But I think at least we need to see this today be over, and we need tomorrow to start more strongly. And we need to kind of at least hold this 200-day moving average, and we need to be able to push higher from here. And look, I think if you can make it from here all the way back just to touching all-time highs, I'm not even suggesting that we're going to break all-time highs. I think Bitcoin will soar. I think altcoins will soar, and I think we'll have a nice little relief bounce. I'm not saying that we're going to all-time highs or that it's going to be quote unquote alt season, but I think it'll be a very nice relief bounce. And I think also you're seeing some very high time frame congestion patterns. This is total three, so this is the entire crypto market less Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's a good proxy for obviously altcoins. But this pattern right here, this is like an ascending triangle. Like consistently, you're having higher lows. So higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And it wants to break out, in my opinion. I do think this wants to come out, and I think it wants to at least test around here. And I think it wants to do it now. I don't think I candidly I don't really see a scenario where this happened. Like I don't think it's gonna fake out and do it. I think it's either gonna be like tomorrow we do this or we don't do this at all. And then Max's scenario plays out where we are just, fundamentally bearish. But this does, I mean, this structure right here is, in my opinion, very bullish from just a price action standpoint. So let's see what happens. There's a lot of great opportunities. Like I was telling Max, like I'm long Sui. Um, this is the same exact pattern that you saw on Total 3, this ascending triangle. Um, if you go out to the weekly, you can kind of see that it is reclaiming this weekly level that I drew out here, and it wants to push higher. Who knows? Maybe it can get to here. Maybe it can go higher than that. Let's see. But I mean, that regardless of what's happening with the stock market and Bitcoin, clearly there's some strong alts that don't care. Um, this is clearly breaking out to me. This is not bearish price action. This is not something I would short. There's a couple of other charts that look kind of like this. One that we called out on a past stream that I think looks pretty good is also Radium. Um, Radium is following Solana. This is a pendant structure. This is a key weekly level here, and it's kind of shown its hand that I think it wants to break out from the structure. So let's see. I think candidly, the name of the game is survive today, and let's see what happens tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But another one is Solana. This already broke out from that kind of descending or ascending triangle structure, and is going higher and retesting. And this is the top of that kind of range that I'm seeing it on this weekly level here. And let's see. This to me looks like it wants to go higher. It broke out from this long period of consolidation downwards. And I think invalidation here that I've already drawn is that it breaks down and down and down, and we just lose it completely. But these are some ideas how to play it. Like I'm thinking, like Max was saying, he's short term bearish. I'm thinking like I'm like 20-day bullish. I really think like in the next 20 days you want to be long. I'm not saying today you want to be long. I'm not saying like in a very short time frame. I'm thinking more like I do think this is a change in market structure. Um, and let's see what happens. Like hopefully Max's stochastics can reset and we can go long with confidence soon. But that's kind of all I'm thinking here on those, Max. Um, any questions or thoughts, ideas?
No. What I would say is we should always take the environment in consideration. So, like you showed the traditional markets, it's a bit of a do or die level. I personally think we could extend a bit lower before really getting that real relief rally. Because always think about markets in terms of the analogy that you go two steps forward and one step back.
Absolutely.
So I
Yeah.
think we just got the two steps forward. And if we just sweep up at liquidity, we can go the next two steps, which then would be explosive for many altcoins because they provided nice bottoming structures. They are breaking out already. They had the first leg up. They are now correcting. This can be great opportunity for the long side. I'm really short term bearish here, and I hope to play the long side again and double my portfolio again on the next run.
I hope that for
Um,
you. I
let's
hope
see,
that for me
let's see.
too.
Of course.
Yeah. Awesome, man.
So yeah, I would say we take it day by day, week by week, and I'm very thrilled where we are in the next market update, where all this went.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next week on Weekly Crypto Market Ideas. I'm Computer Brain. This is Max Berchtold, and this is just for educational purposes. Hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something. And see you later.